Some cars get over it very easily. Very easily. Some cars get over it easily, others struggle. And this, it feels to me, is getting over this array actually pretty well. You've got to be a bit careful, you've got to sort of pick your path across it. But the Toyota fairly well eases across. So let's see how the Jimny will cope with its ultimate test of the day. What I can tell you, it's one of my favourite cars of the year already. Now, the fact that it's a higher revving car means I will be probably working the clutch a bit more, a few more revs on, which is not necessarily ideal, but then you're not pulling 2 and a bit tons of off-roader with that. I'm only pulling 1,200 kilos with that, so there'll be less torque going through the clutch in total, which is, you know, it's not a bad thing. It makes 100 horsepower-ish, 95 foot-pounds. It feels like it's very softly sprung. The old Jimny, brilliant, very cool, wonderful thing as it was quite a hard riding car on the road. Further left. Well, that's where it starts to slip, but the torque vectoring by braking, so I've got a wheel off the ground, but the torque vectoring is just locking a wheel pushing torque to the other side. The Land Cruiser had a bit at this point where it was very, very close to the rocks. This is the hardest bit, certainly. Probably the easiest car I've driven over here is a Jeep Wrangler. Some cars that won't go over it at all. Of course, if you had a Land Cruiser on air suspension, you could raise it even further. But it takes a proper SUV to get over it. This is a proper 4x4, no question. To get the torque vectoring via braking to do its thing means one wheel has to spin a bit, and to get that means you have to put a bit of power on. Whereas if the differential was locked, you could basically do that at idle with very little slip from any of the wheels at all. So you would have a bit more low-speed control than you actually get in the Jimny. Got a bit of clutch smell as well going on. But it is going, it is getting there. It is a car that is half the price, certainly not half of the capability. You see now I've got the slip again. And that's where this whole no-looking diff thing creates its issues. The lowest point to the ground on the Jimny is actually not that dissimilar to the Land Cruiser, but whether the Toyota has more wheel articulation or general body height, for our humble Sherpa, it was easier to pick a route over the rocks in the Toyota than it was in the Jimny, which involved quite a lot of faffing. So you've clearly got to be a bit more careful about your route. And also because it's got petrol, peak torque at 4, it's rather more easy to stall. Will it go everywhere? A Land Cruiser does. Not with quite so much ease, but it kind of gets there or thereabouts. Right, deep breath, and then we'll sum up. So the wee Suzuki Mountain Goat will not go quite as far, quite as easily as the biggest, baddest, best off-roaders, but it is half the price of them. It is certainly not half as much fun. In fact, off-roading in something like a Jimny, which reminds me of an original Jeep in a way, is about as much fun as you can get. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget